Hey, it's Ty, and in this video I'm going to go through a little bit and talk to you more about business credit. I want to introduce you to business credit. I want to talk to you about what business credit is, time frames for building, everything you need to know to set the right expectations for a customer. So first of all, when we talk about business credit, what we're ultimately talking about here is we're talking about credit that's linked to a business's EIN, not their social security number. So just as you're used to having a credit report and score that's linked to your own personal social, with business credit, your business having its own EIN is building its own credit profile and score that's linked to that business EIN. Now, there's a ton of benefits that this provides. First, let me say, most people are absolutely not familiar at all with business credit. It's estimated that about 90% of the business population isn't really familiar with business credit and really doesn't know a lot about what it is or what it is at all, let alone how it works. So that being said, part of your sales process when you talk to people about business credit is providing a little bit of an education. So let's talk a little bit about the benefits that business credit provides. And this video will go to something other than what we're looking at right now as we dive in a little bit further, because I'm going to walk you through and give you an idea of the kind of business credit somebody can get through the business credit building process. So the benefits of business credit are many. First of all, you're building your credit profile for the EIN that's not linked to the social. So that means when we do business credit properly, we're obtaining credit, as we can see here in our finance suite, these round 1, round 2, round 3, round 4, tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, tier 4 credit without a personal credit check. Because what's happening is we're starting by building the business credibility. We're then coming in and helping a business get access to vendor accounts that report to the business credit reporting agencies. So these accounts report to the business credit reporting agencies. Once the actual business owner comes in, obtains them, applies, gets approved, uses the credit, pays the bill, they report to the business credit reporting agencies. So what happens is they then have credit established for their business EIN. We'll talk about time frame and that a little bit further in this video. Once that happens, then when they apply for a Staples card or a Home Depot card or most stores offer revolving accounts, and as they get into start applying for these kind of revolving accounts, then what will happen is they can leave their social security number off the application. The lender or the credit issuer will then pull their business credit that's linked to their EIN, and they can make the approval decision based strictly on the business's EIN credit. So what this means is it means the applicant can actually leave their social security number off the application. There's no personal credit check. So this is awesome because people that even have severe personal credit challenges are not impacted by their ability to build business credit. They can still get in here and start obtaining $2, $3, $4, $5, $10,000 revolving credit accounts for their business within not a long period of time, regardless of their personal credit, because their socials left off the application, their personal credit's not even looked at. Now, because they're not linking this to them personally, there's also no personal guarantee, which is fantastic because that means they're not personally liable if they ever defaulted or for whatever's taking place in the business. Another benefit is that these card limits on business credit accounts, whether it be vendor accounts or whatever tier we're applying for, are significantly higher than the consumer credit. As a matter of fact, SBA estimates that business credit's about 10 to 100 times higher than what you'll find with consumer credit. So business owners can get very high limit accounts very quickly, and it's not linked to their personal credit, which leads me to the other benefit that I just mentioned. It's fast to build business credit. How fast? Well, when somebody makes it through the first step of building business credit, which is to set up their business credibly. Now, how long does this actually take to do? Well, it depends on if they're established or non-established. Setting up a business credibly means getting a business entity, getting their business name, getting their EIN number, setting up their business address and their website, email, and phone number. Any kind of even basically established business already has these things done. They'll fly through the step very quickly. A business that isn't established, that's great too, because the finance suite helps them walk through every step of setting up their business credibly. So depending on, this might take an hour, might take minutes, it might take a week, depending on how established the business is. But once they make sure their business is set up credibly, they can immediately come in and start applying for real usable credit. So literally with a day somebody gets access to the finance suite, for example, they can start applying and getting the tier 1 vendor accounts to start building business credit. Now once they get these accounts, so let's say they come in and get a Gimpler's accounts to buy office supplies or Quill account to buy office supplies. They're basically applying for the actual credit card. Okay, so let's say they go into Quill, they buy $50 or more worth of things, which in order for an account to report to the Business Credit Reporting Agency, it needs to be $50 or higher. So let's say they go into Quill and they buy $50 worth of items at Quill, and they apply for credit with Quill, and Quill gives them an approval for the credit. They buy the $50, they use their Quill credit, then they turn around and they pay that off. Once that happens, once that account's paid, then Quill will report that to the Business Credit Reporting Agencies. Now, as soon as they get that reported and it shows on the business credit reports, then when a certain amount of accounts are there, the customer can start moving on to the next step of the business credit building process. So how long does this take? Well, it usually takes within about 60 days. Some accounts will report quarterly, some report monthly. Some they might have to, like Quill, they might have to apply once, twice, even 3 times to get approved. But when they actually apply, from the time they apply to the time those accounts report takes about, on average, 60 days. Could take 30, could take 90. On average, it's about 60 days. So when we talk about business credit building time frame, it's important to note that what determines the actual time frame to build business credit really comes down to how long it takes for that item to get reported to the Business Credit Reporting Agencies. And on average, that's about 60 days. So somebody can come in and immediately go through step 1. The first day they have access to the finance suite, start applying and getting real usable credit, and that credit takes about 60 days to report to the Business Credit Reporting Agencies. Now, it's important to note that this initial credit is net 30 terms. It's not revolving credit. So that's what they're going to get initially. They're going to get something that gives them terms like net 30, which means they have 30 days to pay that balance off in its entirety. It's not a revolving account that they can pay minimum payments a little over time. But once they get these accounts, and the purpose of these accounts isn't because people want net 30 accounts, it's because these accounts report to the Business Credit Reporting Agencies, and every account here in step 1 can be used by even a brand new startup business, a company that has no business credit profile and score. So somebody can start with no business credit profile and score, get at least 3 of these accounts, actually buy things, okay, use the credit to buy the items they're getting, pay the bill. It takes about 60 days for those to report, and then they can immediately start moving on to round 2 credit. So they can get vendor accounts in the first 30 days. Within about 60 days, they can start moving in to get credit at all these type of places: Amazon, Tiger Direct, Staples, Sherwin-Williams, all the things you're going to see in the finance suite here in step 2. Now, some of these at this point are still net 30 accounts. Some of them, as you'll go through, are actual revolving accounts. So what can happen is within 60 days, the customer can start getting real access to real revolving accounts once those initial accounts report, which again takes about 60 days. So somebody can get credit immediately as they get part of the finance suite. Within 60 days, they can start getting access to real revolving credit. Now, once they've come out and got another 3 accounts here, so they have a total of 6, then they can move into step 3. And step 3 is, I think, almost all, if not all, revolving accounts. So these are Best Buy and Office Depot and Staples, Home Depot, and these are all Walmart, Dell, revolving accounts. And they can get to these usually within that 60 to 90 day time frame. How long does it take? Well, it depends on how many accounts they apply for. So let me give you an example. Let me say we go back to tier 1 accounts, and let's say instead of getting 3 Quill, Gimplers, and Uline, let's say they got all 3 of these and all 3 of these. Well, then they'd have 6. So then they could actually skip all the net 30 accounts here in step 2 and go right into the revolving accounts in step 2 or in round 2, or the revolving accounts in round 3. So again, how fast somebody gets credit depends on a couple things. How fast are they going through and doing the things they need to do? How fast are they coming in and actually applying for new credit? What are they doing, or how much credit are they applying for in between these different rounds? The great news of this is that every variable I just mentioned is on the customer, not us, which means they determine the time frame. The more credit they apply for, the faster they're going to get real credit or access to all the credit they want. But I explain it like this. You're able to immediately come in and get vendor credit, and within 60 days, when that reports to the Business Credit Reporting Agencies, then you're then able to come in and start getting real revolving accounts at most major stores. Okay, then it keeps escalating from there all the way until instead of having 3 or 6 accounts, they have 14 trades reporting. Then they can start getting access to these kind of fleet MasterCards and everything you see in the final step. So when I talk to people about building business credit, I say, look, you can start getting credit immediately through vendors that will offer you net 30 accounts, that offer you credit that you really want and need, like office supplies and computers and things like that you could use to build your business. When you get those accounts, use them, pay the bill, then within about 60 days those accounts report to the business credit reporting agencies. Then you actually have a business credit profile and score established, and you can start getting access to real revolving account at most major stores. Okay, then in a total of about 120 days, about 4 to 6 months, you can start getting access to real fleet credit. Okay, sometimes they can even get cash credit, which is Visa or MasterCards, but that's kind of on and off. Some creditors will issue cash credit without a personal guarantee and personal credit check. Nowadays, it's harder to get that kind of credit. So even though they built the business credit to get a Visa or MasterCard they can use anywhere, there still might have to be a credit check. There still might have to be a personal guarantee. But the great news is that they won't need to have really good credit to get approved for that, because their business credit will already be well established. Plus, in that time frame, at about 4 months time frame, they're also very lendable. At this point, they have 10, 12, 13, 14 trade lines. They have high credit limits of $7,000, $10,000 or more. Their chances of getting a loan at a bank are significantly better, or through other even alternative lenders, and their ability to get good terms on that financing is also very, very, very good. So another benefit again is business credit is that it can be built very quickly. Another thing to keep in mind that you want to talk to your customers about is anybody can look at their business credit reports. You're going to find that you can easily access companies' business credit reports with only their business name, find out their revenue, their employees, how many trade lines they have, how they pay their bills, their public records. This is all public information in the business space. It's not like that in the consumer world. Somebody has to have your permission to pull your consumer credit report, but in the business world, we don't need your permission. All we need is the business name, and all that information can be obtained by competitors, prospects, clients, investors, people you may sell your business to. This is all public information. So a lot of benefits business credit provides. It's fast to build. The limits are very high. You don't need a personal guarantee. You don't need a personal credit check. It makes you more lendable, because all lenders that issue business loans and credit cards look at your business credit profile and score to determine approval. Anybody can see your business credit report and score. There's no impact to your personal credit, which means since it doesn't report to the personal credit reporting agencies, you can use your credit at will and it won't hurt your credit scores. This is important to note, because a third of the consumer FICO score is made up of a factor called utilization. If you utilize or use or have a balance of more than 30% of your limit, then your scores will go down, and they can be severely limited or severely lowered because a third of your total score is utilization. So let's say you have a credit card with a $10,000 balance. Even let's say you got a business credit card, a Capital One Spark card. Well, that reports to the consumer credit reporting agencies. So if you put $5,000 balance on that card, your consumer credit scores would tank. But in the business world, these accounts all report to the business credit reporting agencies. So in that same example, you could max out the card and owe 10 grand. Your consumer scores wouldn't drop even 1 point, because the credit only reports to the business reporting agencies, not the consumer. And I'll tell you something else. Factors like the Dun & Bradstreet Paydex scores, which is one of the main scores used in the business world, only look at payment history to determine your score. So even if you had that card maxed out, your Paydex score still wouldn't be lowered, because as long as you pay your bills as agreed, that's what affects that score. Now, all business credit scores are a little bit different, but it's important to note that, again, they can use this credit wildly as much as they want with no adverse impact to the consumer credit. So a lot of benefits of business credit. Now you've got an idea of what they can accomplish, what they can get within what kind of time frame, the benefits that business credit provides. Another reason somebody wants to build business credits, it's the only way somebody can get money if they don't qualify for a business loan. So to qualify nowadays for a business loan, you have to have good cash flow, or you have to have good credit, or you have to have collateral. If you don't have any of those three, you're simply unlendable. But business credit you can still obtain without those three. So think about that. Somebody trying to start a business, somebody trying to grow their business, has bad credit, doesn't have collateral, doesn't even have much cash flow in their business. Think about how much $2,000, $5,000, $10,000 Dell and Home Depot and Amazon credit cards can help them. You could basically buy the furniture, buy the computers, buy everything you need to basically stock an office using business credit, even when you don't have cash flow credit and collateral. Might you still need cash money to pay payroll? Absolutely. But because you built business credit, you immediately reduce a lot of the actual physical cash you would need to start and grow a business, because business credit can be used to buy a lot of those things. Home Depot and Lowe's and Sam's Club and Costco, almost everything you need to set up a business you could buy at these stores, in which you can use business credit to buy those things, and you don't need cash flow credit or collateral to obtain business credit. So there's so many benefits. To somebody that can't get normal financing, this is a lifesaver. Although they might say, well, I want $50,000 in cash. Well, I do too. But the reality is that everybody has to meet criteria to qualify for the $50,000 in cash. And if you don't have cash flow credit or collateral, you ain't going to qualify. But with business credit, you can still get $50,000, $100,000 in real usable credit to buy the things you're going to use the cash for anyways. So you don't really need that much in cash. And then they can go to a multitude of different other paths, like family, friends, to get the remainder of the money they may need. For people that already have good personal credit, already have an established business, then business credit's a lifesaver. If they ever want to get a loan, if they ever want to get good terms on a loan, even a cash advance loan, they're going to need to have their business credit established. And who wants to supply a personal guarantee and personal liability when you don't need to? So a lot of benefits of business credit. Now you have an idea of the time frame, some of the benefits, some of the talking points that you want to mention when discussing things with business credit. It's the business credit with customers or prospects. It's even a great idea to pull their business credit report to show them that they don't have much established, and for them to understand that anybody can get that information and how that makes them look. So that's it. I just wanted to go through and give you an idea of what business credit is, how it works, the benefits, how it can be obtained, how quickly it can be obtained, the type of credit that a customer could actually obtain. And again, going through the finance suite, looking through the different tiers, round 1, 2, 3, and 4, gives you an even better idea of how much and what type of credit that actual business owners can obtain using the finance suite and by building their business credit.